Well, hello, welcome to Drawing with Fire. I'm Valarie, your neighborhood pyrography artist, and I'm joined with hubby.
Okay.
A tired hubby. And today we are working on the nose. Hey, Kathy, Shirley, Greg, Midnight Joker, and Sheila. More will come in as we go. I got my new set of spoon shaders, so they look like your spoon shaders instead of the testers. And I just wanted to show when you get a new pen, what your first step is after getting it, and this is the medium. Pat goes by numbers. I don't. So first, I need to grab a paper towel and just wipe it off. Make sure there's no polish or anything like that. Sometimes that happens. Plug it in. Make sure it's fully plugged in and seated all the way down. Bump it up to 8. Make sure I'm on the right side. And turn it on. Let it heat red.
Huh. Joker says his thumbs up disappeared.
Oh. And here we go. It's all hot. And now we have an oxide layer on here. It turns, sometimes it depends on the tip. Sometimes they turn purple or blue or black. And this tip is now ready to go. So I'm going to unplug it and move on. So that is it. That's all you have to do when you first get your, you know what, I'm going to keep that medium out. We just might use it. When you first get an Optima pen. That's all you got to do. And now you're ready to burn. Make sure you bump your heat down to where you want to start off, because if you keep it on that heat level and you forget to turn it down, you're more likely to have a really hot pen when you didn't expect it. So I'm going with my small spear shader, and we're going to start with the nose. I do have a new printout because I wanted to be able to see a little bit better the details, because it's an old photo. There's only so much you can do with it, and then I still have my bigger ones. These are a little darker than the other ones because this is closer to where I'm going to go. Now, looking at my reference, we can see that we have a highlight right here on the bridge of Grandma's nose, and then we have some light hitting on the cheek on this side. We're not going to burn a line, we're going to burn a shadow on the side.
But he's, hold on real quick.
Uh-huh.
So you got Kathy, Shirley, Greg, Midnight Joker, Sheila, Marlise,
Hey, Marlise.
Barbie,
Carmen.
and you got a question from Marlise.
Yes.
Any reason why you wouldn't go to 10 to get it red hot for the first use of the pen?
Between 8 and 10 is fine. You don't want to constantly heat up your pens like that, because no matter what brand it is, the constant up and down of the metal in heat, it expands and contracts. And the more you do it, the more brittle you make the metal. And so I just went to 8. Pat's based on his instructions, I think he said 6 or 7. I went to 8. In the past, I've gone to 10. It's really not a big deal. So right now I'm at 2, and I just used the eraser, my regular 4-in-1 Vantage 4-in-1 to lighten.
Wanda Hewitt is here now.
Hey, Wanda. To lighten some of my graphite. Remember, graphite shows through a light burn. So there we go. Just lighten it a little bit, and we will zoom in for you guys. There's going to be a color change of the wood because the light is hitting the wood differently to the camera. See, it just lightened a little bit. Wood didn't change, camera lighting changed. Alrighty. So we're going to start right here along the edge, and I'm just going in very quick circles, and even now at 2, it's actually still pretty hot. So I'm going to go down to 1.5. I can always darken. Always darken. Always harder to lighten. So just using the tip, the foot of the pen is going to have less heat if I touch down fully. But since I'm not, it's going to be darker. And then I'm going to bring in this shadow here just to start getting a base of Grandma's nose, the shape. And remember, this is basswood. Birch is going to require more heat. This is how basswood burns. And I actually do like the basswood better for portraits for that reason. I can get things done quicker. Now we have a shadow here. See, I'm not using any lines. I'm using the shadow to shape. Now here we've got a darker area, the nostril. It's never fully black. It just looks that way. So I'm going to go in just a base burn. Can always darken it up. And we also have this nostril on this side. When you're doing a 3/4 portrait, you're going to see less of this nostril, or whichever one's further from the camera. So just go in with less. Less is more. We can always reshape. And by going in lighter, it gives us options. Now I'm going to need to go to my bigger photo so I can see how the nostril is shaped. Make sure I get that right. See, it's not straight across. It angles almost like an eye. So I need to make sure I get that. Little point, and then down. Shape it. And right here is going to be our darkest line, right up against the base of the nostril that we see, or the top, because there's the least amount of light is hitting here, and then we start getting reflective light at the bottom. So I got to pay attention to that.
Spence is here.
Hey, Spence. And then we have the curve above the Cupid's bow of the nostril, and this is a straight line here. Right now, because I don't have a whole lot of burn in, it looks like I'm outlining, but I'm not. And we need to pay attention to this spot right here. You'll notice that's the lightest spot, and that's because, again, reflective light is hitting. Our faces aren't flat, they're curved, so however the curve moves, that's where light will bounce off in different directions. So all this lighter area, the underneath of the nose, is getting hit by bouncing light from the top of our lip. It's all these little things that if we pay attention to them. You see, I had my pen off, but I didn't test. Because one, I forgot, and two, I'm also touching down in an area that I've already burned. And so it's going to take the heat slightly different. So we get a little darker here. And let's get some of the shadow. The biggest thing is watching where the shadows are at, because that's what's going to shape.
Burl's here.
Hey, Burl. Let's see here. It goes up. Now I'm trying to follow the direction. So right here, where the nose connects to the cheek, it goes down, not across. So I'm trying to get the shading to go in the same direction as how our face bounces that light. Now I can get rid of more of this graphite right here. These are all base burns. I will go back and readjust and darken where necessary. If necessary, like on the eyes, I did have to do some adjusting because I was a little off. There we go. Grandma's side of her nostril is a little straighter. Some are more curvy. We just need to watch that. Bring it in. And again, this is why I recommend not doing an old photo to start with if you've never done a portrait, because there's certain things to pay attention to that are harder to see in a old portrait. And drag out some shadow here. There we go. Let's see.
Burl's computer is still updating.
She must have got a new one.
She said their main computer is still updating. So.
Alright, so right here, this is harder to see on the nose. We have the main part. I'm not going to touch the paper because I'll burn it. Excuse me. We have the main shape of the nose coming down here, which connects to this line here. And then we have shadow over here. That is the other nostril. It's more pushed back. So we got to pay attention to that.
Cindy's here.
Hey, Cindy.
And Paige Reese.
Hey, Paige. So let's bring in, oops, I need this to be lighter. Come down. Bring it in. And this area is darker.
Cindy says, soaking in the knowledge.
Soaking it in. Alright. Right now, it's going to look really off because we have no burning around that gives us the context. This line is darker, so let's get that darker line in. And then above the nostril is darker. So it's a matter of going back and forth.
Wanda says, but I like my old portrait of me. I was younger and had less wrinkles and no lines to burn.
I hear you. I hear you. So I'm going to bring some of this burn out so we can get some better shape. This is a darker line right here. But see, because I've gone so light, I can adjust everything. And then also look at my bigger photo up here so I can see. Because it is burning. This is the only spot that is the highlight. And so I have burning to do here. And until I put these mediums in, it's going to look off. It's going to look pretty stark. So let's get that in there.
Yep.
How much I can erase.
People talk about their, because you get older and you get lines and wrinkles and things.
Makes your face more interesting.
Well, yeah. When I think you've earned those.
Mm-hmm.
They're part of what makes your character.
Yeah, get this down.
And something to be proud of. Like when people are younger, it's like there's this idea that like, oh, they're so young, no wrinkles. It's like, well,
excuse me.
Kind of a blank slate. You don't have that many identifying characteristics.
Yeah, and for art, that makes it a little more boring.
Actually, I find it easier to do portraits of older people.
Yep.
Because when you're doing pictures of somebody who's younger, portrait, you have to really pay attention to your landmarks because there's not as many. But when people have lines and interest in their face, it's actually you've got a lot more to work with. So.
Alright, so now I'm going to go off my bigger photo. Where I'm not looking so much at shape and detail. To show me what's darker. And see, here's the thing. This photo is much smaller than my actual burning, so I have to pay attention and make that adjustment in my head.
Yep. Brain calibration.
Mm-hmm.
It's part of what being an artist is making those adjustments.
But if you need more lines than what I've got, there is nothing wrong with that.
So Joker says made a bowl to try Pyro today, like a wooden bowl, but the grain is so nice I'm gonna have to wait.
Why don't I make another one? Make another one.
Wanda says, my face, this week, has 64 years of interesting lines. You know what? Good on you.
Yeah.
Good on you. Every time I talk to my parents, my dad, he's always complains about it getting older. It's like, oh, I'm so old. This sucks. And it's like, well, I get that. But at the same time, I'm glad to have made it to this point,
Mm-hmm.
And I think that every age that you're at, you should celebrate. So I certainly have a lot of pain that I didn't have when I was 18, but at the same time, I've got a lot of perspective, and I honestly wouldn't trade that.
So right now what I'm trying to do is shape Grandma's nose so that we have our highlight here. But the highlight is really not a bright one. Not like, say, the highlight in the eyes or on the pearls or the top of her button. So we have to pay attention to that. It's not as bright. Granted, we can always go back and adjust. If it would look better. See, here's the thing with this one, especially the photo. It's not a really good photo anymore. The photo itself, the shape that it's in. But by burning Grandma, I give it a whole new feel. And hopefully, it'll last in much better condition. Am I still on? I could go up a little bit. There we go. There we go. So,
one says her oldest daughter told me that she was old when she turned 28. It's funny how your definition of old changes when as you age. When I was in the Army, I remember seeing these guys that were, in their mid-20s. I was like, oh man, these guys are old. They've been around, they've seen some stuff, right? But looking back, I'm like, Jesus, those guys were kids.
Mm-hmm. Let's see here. So we've got to bring in some shading on this nostril. And it'll be a matter of me going back and forth until I get other darks in. It's still hard for me to judge. So right here we do have a bit of a harsher line. And our nose the line of our nose does go up to our eyebrows, so we need to watch that line. And then in between, at the bridge above the bridge of our nose, there's an indent. So we need to pay attention to that. Those little things make all the difference. Make all the difference. So it's just a back and forth, back and forth. Again, I will end up turning up the heat once we get a lot more in. So like next week's Grandma's mouth, so let's go darker. Bump it just a little bit back up to 2. And if I accidentally get a little blob, I can take some sandpaper to lighten it.
You know what I find that's interesting about this process is that, in a way, it's kind of like restoration, because you're taking an old photograph that's damaged and you are turning it into something that's nicer. And
that's what I'm saying. I'm hoping to redefine the photo.
Yeah.
And hopefully I do it right.
I mean, you could do this in Photoshop, but it just has a more personal touch. And the end result is going to be a fine piece of art.
Fingers
or
crossed.
A piece of fine art.
I have to keep telling myself, what's the worst that can happen? I start over? I have to start over because I was a little off on something. Luckily, I know I can fix a lot before I start over, so I feel a little more confident. So I guess that's my heat, and I'm trying to get a little better shape.
Joker says liking the way that adding the nose is softening the eyes.
Yep. As I put more stuff in, it's going to look less harsh. Because right now, it does look harsh. And I had to keep reminding myself, Grandma's not staying in this place. She's not staying harsh. I just have to get all the information in. And that's something you really need to remind yourself each time you start burning. This is still a beginning burn. Excuse me. So there's still a lot that needs to go into it. Just trying to get her shape right. Define where everything is. Like here, I might have gone a little wide where the nostril is.
Carmen says, you're taking the crackle out of the old picture. Wouldn't it be cool to add a crackle to a younger picture?
It would be. It definitely would be.
Sounds like a challenge there, Carmen.
Well,
you should do that.
I think I've decided what next month's burning is. Or when we're done with this.
What's that?
Well, after doing my blog about chronic pain,
Yep.
and I was thinking about last night, and I remembered I have a drawing that I did years ago, back in 2007. Titled Lupus.
It's pretty personal.
It is personal.
You sure you want to do that?
Yep.
Okay.
I already got personal with the blog. I mean, I didn't disclose everything, but I already did that with the blog. And see, this is a drawing that I did a long time ago, and my skills have improved. So there's more I'd like to add to it. It will be a nude, though you don't see.
Yeah.
You don't see anything the way she's positioned. But
did I say that Paige Reese was here?
you did.
Okay.
And
I'm
I
a
said
little
hi.
tired, so.
I know you are. Alright, so this bulb is, this line is making her nose look a little off, and that's because it needs some shading right here. So I'm just quickly moving over that spot with more of the pen.
Carmen says, oh God, I've only done one face so far. To quote a classic movie, Carmen, you can do it.
Let's see here. So the underneath still needs to go darker. See, it's just a back and forth, trying to get things balanced. Let's get this a little darker. There we go. And I'm actually going to, because right now we really can't see the side of the nostril. So I'm going to blur it out. I'm blurring.
It's just
it's a hint of it. It's not.
It's in shadow.
Mm-hmm.
But it's looking really good.
Blur it out. And again, right now it still looks. One, it looks better on camera. Two, it still lacks all the context because we don't have, other than the eyes, we don't have any of the surrounding areas to give us that context. And this was all done with a 1.5, excuse me, and 2. Quicker, bring the shadow across. Remember, things always look harsh until they don't. This needs to move in a little bit. There we go. It's a little bit better. Flat, and then like for, let's see here, the cheek. Do we need a separate video for the cheek? Or do the cheek with the mouth? Or we can start some cheek with, because we only got 2 weeks left of this month. Make sure. So I'm still on 2, and I just very quickly move my pen. And it's more of the half. I'm using half the bottom of the tip. Bring this up. See, we're not putting in any harsh lines. This is a darker area.
Oh, Kathy Grimes says Grandma's looking good. Carmen has to go. She will watch
Carmen.
this over when she gets back. Thank you again for the info you shared last night. Very grateful.
You're very
Is it
welcome.
the blog info? Or did you something else?
It was something else.
Okay.
Let's bring this down. We have a highlight right here. So let's shape. Let's shape it. So we have a roundness of our cheek. Think of it as an apple. That's why they call it the apple on the cheek. I'm trying to find a surface that I can use as an example.
For what?
A ball. I don't have anything like that in here. No.
You've got here. There's the ceramic cup there. That's
No.
you need an actual ball.
It's alright.
Okay.
Thank you. It's
Blue
alright.
Jewel is here.
Hey,
Better
Blue.
late than never. Good afternoon.
Now, if I don't get Grandma's cheeks right, it throws everything off. So we need to make sure we get that right shape. And now remember, all of this is going to have to go darker because when I go to varnish, the wood's going to darken. And when the wood darkens, my lighter burn, if it stays like this, is going to have an issue. It is going to it's going to darken up to the similar to the light burns and fade them out, so they'll look like they're gone. They're not really gone. They are still there. There we go. That's a little bit better. Here, I gotta bring this line. When I try to soften, I'm blending from the dark. And oval strokes. Oval strokes is my favorite. To me, it gets the best smoothness. You just have to move very quickly to control your heat. And when I lift, just that little lift reheats the tip just enough. It allows me to draw out with a lighter tip. Excuse me, because the wood's been a heat sink. So I'm able to better control my heat, and that is the biggest thing. Yeah, I think this line's a little off. There we go. That's a little better. Alrighty. Goodness. Not bad for half an hour.
Yeah,
I don't know that I'm gonna have to. I don't know if I'm gonna have to build too much on it right now.
No, it's you've done a
I got in pretty quick.
whole feature.
Yeah. Miracles can happen. And of course, when we're off camera and I come back in here later, I'll look at it and go, "Why did I do that?" Because I'll find something.
Well, you always do.
Because I always do. Do we got any questions?
No, you don't. Not. I mean, you might now that you've said that, but not any that I've missed. So.
Yeah. And just scanning. Oh, has our friend shown up?
Mm-hmm.
Our friend has shown up
At the very beginning.
at the very beginning. Because I was going to do something. Every time they show up. But it's not working. There she is. We haven't seen her in a while. If you're new, that's Bernadette. There's a whole backstory to her. It's been a while. Missed you, Bernadette. I gotta remember which live it was when you did Bernadette. Bernadette is a drawing Jason did to make fun of me, very silly.
In the best,
and loving way possible. But I thought she was hilarious.
But she's
so
not you.
No. Do you want to grab her? She hasn't been out in a while.
Oh.
We even went as far. Wait, there's a candle in there. We even went as far as to make a Bernadette.
Which was actually easier than... Well, you did the hair, though.
I did the hair.
Oh, there's stuff in here.
Yeah, to keep her head up.
Oh.
It's a plastic bag or paper or something.
I don't know. I don't know if I want to know what this is.
Don't make it harder than it is.
Sorry, I had a Michael Scott moment there. Think about it.
Yes, overcoming the fear of burning too dark on a portrait has taken a long time. Yep, me too. You get worried and yep, there she is. There she is. Hello, Bernadette. Mwah. Haven't seen you in a while. I know. So that, when I pop up the live part, oh, you're going to bite my finger. Okay. This is Bernadette. One day I'll do a burning of you, okay? Yeah. All right. Now I'm just talking to hubby's hand, and that probably looks really weird.
No. Here are my hands. Bernadette is real.
Well, yes, Kathy, pretty sad for the thumbs down. I'll actually get one more because we now have 2 trolls. Yay! In fact, I think if we have Bernadette, we need to make Jason's counterpart. Down in the comments, if we made a Jason puppet, what would the name be? Has to go something along with Pyrography, though.
She's not you.
Woodpecker?
She's not you, though.
You didn't do the voice.
She just happens to have red hair.
Yeah. You keep telling yourself that.
And there's some purple streaks in there.
Well, I don't have my purple anymore. It's gone.
You did that, so not me.
That's blue.
Okay, so it is.
That's blue. So yeah, we'll get another thumbs down. Probably after the live. That's when it tends to happen. Oh well, what you gonna do?
Well, I don't see questions, but I do
Yeah.
see Greg says overcoming the fear of burning too dark on a portrait has taken a long time for him to overcome.
Yep. It's hard. It took me doing actually YouTube before I really started going in with some darks the way I really should have.
Such a dirty Santa.
So he needs a dirty Santa puppet?
Well, that'd be good for Christmas time.
Yeah, for Christmas. We gotta figure that out. I definitely think it needs to have a stocking cap.
Kathy and Greg, haters are gonna hate.
Yeah, they are. I see them. I acknowledge them. I blow you a kiss. If you get my drift.
I think everybody gets your drift.
Hey, I was being good. That's me being good. Alrighty, if we don't have any more questions, I think it sounds like I need to give my voice a rest for some reason.
Spud says he burned a large spot too dark.
Take a little sandpaper to it to smooth it out and lighten it up, and then you can readjust it. It happens. It does happen, and you can readjust it. And sometimes when you burn too dark and then you sand over it with 400, it'll smooth the wood out, so when you go back over it, it'll burn a little lighter, but you can work it up again. So you can do it.
Greg says KMA. I don't know what that is.
First thought was karma, but I don't. Not sure. KMA. Yeah, I'm not sure. So I linked the blog down in the description. I've got that going. This week I will be writing about sanding your wood for prep. I got to do some testing, so I had to order some sandpaper, and I got it.
Never mind, I know what that means.
Is it good or bad? Oh, yes, Greg. Yes, as soon as you said it, I heard it.
I'm just assuming.
He thought it, and I heard it.
I don't know why you didn't get that earlier.
Because I'm like thinking three different things at once. Yeah, we got it, Greg. Yep. He thought it and transferred it to me.
I had to run it through the database, you know.
One of those days. So the blog is up and running. Last week was transferring your photo, materials to use and not use, and why not to use, like the heat transfer method that drives me nuts. That's all in that. And the week for that was cleaning your tips properly. Right? Yes. I believe so. I've written a lot of words lately. Mm-hmm. Don't forget to give this a thumbs up.
Man, we've already, and I appreciate all the thumbs up.
Oh, absolutely.
So thank you very, very much.
Thank you so much. This is a different kiss. Mwah! There we go. This is a good kiss for you. Mwah! Two-handed. When I do mwah, that, no, you got it. Greg got it. All right. If you're new, don't forget to hit subscribe. And don't forget, because I almost did, but I caught it. Say it with me. You know what we're going to say? Yep. You are awesome.
Shoes
you can do this.
Should be cleaned regularly.
Why? You're a pyro artist, and it helps if I have it on the screen.
I'm so tired.
Happy burning, guys. Bye. You so tired?
Yeah, you got a nice comment from Shirley.
Aw. I shall read. Nice is always good.